Top of the morning, y'all, and happy Memorial Day. You know, I never knew how to really approach Memorial Day until I met Cody Alford, who's I've had on this channel. And he just said, look, they'd want you to be happy, not sitting around miserable, not sitting around crying. So be happy, and that's how you honor their memory. And I really just appreciate him painting in a way that only a veteran really could. So if you were a veteran, if you served, thank you so much. We got the news last night that my hero, Phil Robertson, had finally passed away. And you know, it was a shock to the system because this is just a hero. But I want to share a couple stories with you real quick that I've never shared before, because he was such a pivotal role in how I got started and the way I do things and why I do things. It was, a lot of it just came from Phil. I was actually asked to come on to help in 2023 to promote their movie, The Blind. I'm like, you want me to do, you know, what is this? I'm nobody, right? Phil's just got such a legacy, and here I am walking in to meet him for the first time. I was terrified, okay? He's a force. The man is like talking to Moses. There was no joking around. There was no kidding. I mean, he was sizing me up. I was sitting there sweating bullets, and we walked out of there, and I was thinking, I hope that was good, right? So my wife and I go down the street to Cracker Barrel, which is just about a mile or two from their West Monroe Duck Commander warehouse, and we're having breakfast because Phil does things early. We got there like 6 a.m., which means we had to leave Jackson at 4 a.m. Just to get over there. But we get a call, and they said, "Are you still in town?" I'm thinking, "Yeah. Are we? Is everything okay? Did we forget something?" And she goes, "No, just have something I want to talk to you about." I said, "Well, I can come back." And my wife is going, "Yeah, we can come back. What's going on?" And she goes, "I'll come to you." I'm thinking, what the heck, man? Like, we're in trouble. Where did it go wrong? I really tried hard to behave myself, and I didn't know what I screwed up. So she came and she goes, "No, actually, he just really loved you, and we don't do this a whole lot, but you got invited to come back to be on the Unashamed podcast. He wants to spend more time with you." And I'm sitting there going, holy cow. I mean, nobody gets to meet their heroes, let alone spend time, not once, but twice. And each time, I got to tell you, he spent hours with me. Hours. It was not, let's just do it. And this is the point I want to drive home. There's this picture over here I'm going to put up, and it's me and Phil. I've never told the story behind this picture, because you can look at a picture and there's a lot more going on than you actually might know. He had finished the podcast. It could have just been, "Have a nice life. See you, buddy boy," and never see you again. Instead, he was talking about, and I'll never forget this, 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And he was wanting to drive that home. He goes, "Now listen, buddy, I want to make sure you understand this. I want to make sure you get this, son." And he kept going in, and he just was standing right there for a 15, 20-minute mini sermon. Just spontaneous out of nowhere. And that led to the next time going in, where he immediately knew who I was on the podcast. They asked my wife to be on it, who's never on camera. I'll link the video at the end of this end screen here, but she's never on camera. But how are you going to say no? You know, when Phil asks you to be on camera, he goes, "You got an interesting name, you know, Bootsy. You need to be on this. You need to be on this podcast." So we did, and we got to tell our testimonies, and it was incredible. But even after that, it wasn't done. He was still investing in me and mentoring me and spending time with me. And that's the kind of man that he is. When you walk into his, area, you're going to know. And it's just, in a world full of NPCs and people who just don't really invest in anyone that's around them at any given time, this man grabbed a hold of you and not only just told you the gospel and told you who he was, but he meant it. And you felt it. And for nothing else, man, I want to be like that every day of my life around people, because that's the example he left for me. The last thing I told him is, there is a map that was always behind Phil when he did the Unashamed podcast. It had the Mississippi River going right down through Mississippi and Louisiana, where my house is over here, Phil's house was over there, and there was all these tributaries that would burst out of the Mississippi River. You could just see them sparking off this way and that way and this way. I said, "Look, Phil, you're the reason that I got going doing this. You're the first time I ever said the name of Jesus on a YouTube channel, because I came from country music, and you're told by your agents and your managers, you can say God all you want, you don't say Jesus." I said, "Phil, you're the reason I ever said Jesus," and started just professing him and doing it out loud and boldly. I said, "You see that map that always is behind you?" I said, "That big old river, Mississippi River, that's like Jesus. And Phil Robertson sparked a tributary kind of out of that river right there. And then old Buddy Brown was a tributary that sparked off of Phil Robertson. That's the chain of events." And he rubbed his beard like that, and he just gives them that old Phil Robertson, and that was the last thing I told him. And I said, "Thank you so much for your fire, and thank you for being real. And that's all it was. But what an incredible man. May God bless the Robertson family. I know he's on the streets of gold right now, hugging Jesus, and I can't wait to be there with him one day. But until then, my friends, we lost a warrior. So lead by his example, fight the good fight, love your neighbor, and live life as you should. And I think he was an incredible testament to that. God bless you.